Hi, welcome back to Mysteries Channel. I just want to say to all of you guys that celebrate, happy Halloween. Man, isn't it funny how, where I live right now, it was hot as balls up until about 2 weeks ago, and tonight it is going to be freezing cold. Why? Because kids want to trick or treat, man. I swear to God. All right, so we are going to get to the end of the Adam and Eve story by Chan Thomas today. Yeah, it's pretty, there's not very much left of it. It's basically a chapter which is titled The Conclusion, and a little bit of about the author. We'll go through that, and yeah, let's just get to it. The Conclusion. India, Greece, Egypt. India. When Indra, king of the gods, had destroyed the Titan who held the waters of the earth captive in his entrails, he returned to the heights of the central mountain, with the song of the rains and the running waters in his ears. But where his dwelling once stood, he saw only ruins and ashes. So he summoned Visvakarman, god of the works and arts, and asked him to build another palace to match his powers. The architect set out to work. Soon towers, buildings, and gardens arose among lakes and woods. Indra urged him forward impatiently. Each day he called for some fresh marvel, new delight for the eyes, walls more imperial, pavilions more richly adorned, statues greater in number and cunning. A fever seemed to burn in him, and Visvakarman, exhausted by his labors, decided to lay a complaint before the creator of the world. Brahma received him, gave ear, approved, and went to plead his cause before Vishnu, the supreme being. Help was promised. Soon, a young Brahmin appeared at the king's palace and demanded audience. Charmed by the light of his eyes, Indra granted his request. "O king," said the messenger, "thy palace shall be the noblest of all." These words were sweet to Indra's ears, and he rejoiced. Vishnu's messenger continued, "It shall be the noblest of the palaces which the Indras before thyself sought to build." The king became uneasy. "Dost thou say that there were other Indras, other Visvakarmans before ourselves, other palaces before mine?" "Indeed, yes," the youth answered. "I have seen them. Moreover, I have seen the world arise and vanish again, like a tortoiseshell coming out of the infinite ocean and sinking back. I was present at the dawn of the twilight of the cycles, past counting in their numbers. Nor could I count all the Indras and Visvakarmans, even the Vishnus and the Brahmas following one after another without end. Brahma Vavivarta, Purana, and Krishna Janma Kanda." Now there are 2 more pages stuck in this book that looks like it's just a list of things to get. Tools, saws, bits, lights, tire gauge, car wash brush, a magnetic key holder, and reflective tape. "O Salon, Salon, you Hellenists are but children. There are no old doctrine handed down among you by ancient tradition, nor any science which is hoary with age, and I will tell you the reason behind this. There have been and will be again many destructions of mankind, arising out of many causes, the greatest having been brought about by earth fire and inundation. Whatever happened either in your country or ours, or in any country of which we are informed, any action which is noble and any end great, or in any other way remarkable, which has taken place, all that has been inscribed long ago in our temple records, whereas you and other nations did not keep imperishable records. And then, after a period of time, the usual inundation visits like a pestilence and leaves only those of you who are destitute of letters and education, and thus you have to begin over again as children, and knowing nothing of what happened in ancient times, either among us or among yourselves. As for those genealogies of yours which you have related to us, they are no better than tales of children. For in the first place, you remember one deluge only, whereas there have been a number of them. And in the next place, there dwelt in your land, which you do not know, the fairest and noblest race of men that ever lived, of which you are but a seed or remnant. And this was not known to you because for many generations the survivors of that destruction made no records." Plato, Timaeus, spoken by a priest of Egypt. "Therefore we will not fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea. Though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling of thereof. Psalm 46. All right, here we talk about the author. Mr. Thomas attended Dartmouth College and Columbia University, receiving his degree in electrical engineering from the latter in 1943. As a result of his research in 1949, Mr. Thomas has become recognized as the world's leading authority in the field of cataclysmic geology and its relationship to ununiformitarian geology. In 1959, he applied his findings to the possibility of earthquake prediction and at a semester in November 1959 issued the results of his studies. He then accurately forecast the months, years, and locations of major African and Chilean earthquakes of 1960, the Iranian earthquake of 1962, the Yugoslavian earthquake of 1963, and further predicted that California would have no major earthquakes for the following 5 years. His correlation research in the fields of stratigraphy, vertebrate paleontology, radiology, oceanography, glaciology, seismology, paleophilology, earth magnetism, anthropology, and other related fields has demonstrated that the cataclysmic geology theories are presented by Deluc in 1779 and Cuvier in 1812 are definitely more acceptable than they have been previously within international scientific circles. Mr. Thomas's definitive efforts in integrating the various earth sciences have distinguished him as the only American today with such a specialized scientific forte. His research in paleosciences has led to new explanations of such enigmas as the Pyramid of Khufu at Giza, the ancient cities of Tiwanaku and Baalbek, and the giant statues of Easter Island. Next is a list of supplementary reading. I won't read the author's names, just the works that he is noting. Secret Cities of South America, The Lost Cities of Africa, The Lost Continent of Mu, The Lost Americans, Gods, Graves, and Scholars, Planet Earth, The New Astronomy, Primitive Man and His Waves, Primitive Peoples Today, Strange World, The Bible as History, Sex and Family in the Bible, Design of the Universe, Worlds in Collision, How Old is the Earth? A little bit of knowledge can be a dangerous thing, or it can be a vibrant seed, giving rise to verdant forests and awakening sleeping giants. And that, my friends, is the end. So that is the conclusion of this series. I am going to go through the book, the uncensored version that Roxy left, and eventually I'll do a video on that whole thing. I won't break it up chapter by chapter unless there's some fascinating chapters that they left out, because, well, probably there are. To me, the entire thing is compelling. It's fascinating. I mean, who of us has heard all of the different creation stories from around the world and thought, damn, they're so similar? Either they were in communication and everything we learned in school is wrong and people were going back and forth between continents and sharing information, or something so big happened around the earth that everyone has this grain of memory and it changes just slightly over time. But when you get to the nuts and bolts of it, they're trying to remember, they were trying to tell all the rest of us, something huge happened. We all almost died. This is what happened. And maybe over time, different areas, different names are changed so much over the world, but eventually it always breaks down to the same damn thing, right? A huge flood came and washed it all away. The Adam and Eve story, I don't know if that's said in other religions around the world or something similar, probably is, but yeah, I was just like, oh shit. Didn't think it was going to go there. Another thing that is compelling about this book is that, okay, if you're from a religious background, you know, obviously, Genesis, the creation story, Adam and Eve, and all of that stuff. If you're going to school, at least if you're in an American school where they kind of separate that stuff, they go over other things. They talk about comet strikes and dinosaurs. Like, obviously, there's epochs of the world that have ended, and typically they're like, we're not sure what it is, but it was probably a comet. Well, now you wonder, I mean, obviously, plenty of comets have hit us, but maybe there's something more to it. If there is a polar shift because the electromagnetism of the earth, I mean, I'm gonna go through a lot of stuff and try to figure out, but whatevs. Tell me what you guys think. Was it worth going through the whole book? Did you like the declassified version versus the original version? If you've read it, are there parts that I'm missing that I totally like blanked out that I should be focusing on? Tell me what you guys think. And then also tell me, like, where should we go next? Honestly, I've been kind of trying to go through the declassified Tesla files, obviously. They're harder though. They're much harder because it's almost like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy was made, and then they faxed it to their friends, faxed it back, and then put it on the internet. So man, it's like messing with my eyes looking at that stuff. But if there's anything else you want me to go and see if I can find, let me know. All right. Have a good, safe Halloween, and I'll see you when I see you.